This 2.2 litre TDCI engine has just started billowing blue smoke. Now, most mechanics and most people would fear the worst. Is the engine going to blow up? Is the engine going to fail? Blue smoke always means burning oil. Now, this is the same engine what's in the Ford Transit, the Land Rover Defender from 2012 to 2016, and obviously the Ford Ranger. Now, in this video and in this series, I'm going to be investigating the blue smoke on this Ford Ranger. And I'm going to go in logical steps, obviously from the most cost effective to the least cost effective. Obviously the least cost effective is going to be a new engine. The most cost effective is going to be a series of diagnosis tests, which you want to stick around to the end of the video and subscribe along, because I'm going to be making a series of this on my repair bill, because a few of the tests I'm going to do are a little bit invasive for the engine, but I need to know we've got a good engine before I start building it back up and before I start throwing parts at it as well. So did you know over 90% of people who watch my videos aren't actually subscribed to the channel? It would really help me out if you could hit the subscribe button, and if you love Land Rovers as much as I do, then join along with me. The first most logical step is to obviously plug in the diagnostic computer into the OBD onboard diagnostic port, and this is basically just to see if you've got a blocked DPF or any sort of emissions problems or any sort of warning lights, what you can trace and you can isolate the system too, so it's an easy repair. This Ford Ranger has no fault codes registered on its computer, so we're going to have to start at somewhere else as well. Now, if you've got blue smoke coming out of that exhaust, the dipstick or the filler cap, it means the engine's obviously burning oil. So this could be a multitude of things, and we're going to obviously go through each thing as we go along in the sequence of testing the vehicle. So if there's blue smoke, it means the oil's getting into the combustion chamber, it's igniting with the diesel, and this could be a few things. It could be warm piston rings, the oil is escaping out of the actual sump and into the actual combustion chamber, passing the piston rings and igniting along with the fuel mixture. On the exhaust stroke of the piston, it's then pushing out the blue smoke, what's already been ignited in the combustion sequence, out of the exhaust valve, and that's where you're getting your blue smoke. But there's a few other things it could be, and obviously the piston rings would be absolutely detrimental to this engine. It would basically write the entire vehicle off. So I'm hoping that's not the case, but we're going to obviously go over the actual diagnostics of this vehicle. We're going to make sure we've got a good engine. We're going to make sure we've got a good cooling system. We're going to make sure we've got well-seated injectors. So there's a multitude of things, and we're going to obviously go through them all in a logical sequence. Now, a common fault on these is the turbo as well. The turbo could be leaking oil, the seals could be broken or blown. This could cause oil to pass into the intake of the engine, get sucked in, and then obviously ignite along with the fuel mixture in the combustion chamber. So sometimes you'll be able to hear a whirring turbo or a bearing of a turbo, but this stethoscope is really handy for looking into diagnosing a little bit more fine tuning of the engine as well, and obviously all of the components as well. So if you obviously put these in your ears and you put this onto the turbo, you can hear the bearings of the turbo, you can hear the turbines of the turbo, and you can basically tell if it's worn or not. I've checked this when it's warm and I've checked it when it's cold. There's no definitive sign that the turbo is actually worn. So I'm going to leave the turbo for now because it's about £600 for this vehicle. So it's quite an expensive part. So I'm going to start with the actual top of the engine instead. Now, to make sure the cooling system's good, and in a way this could test a head gasket, in another way it can't. Obviously, if the head gasket is gone somewhere in the sort of the cooling system side, then it may indicate a pressure leak. So what we've got is a coolant pressure tester. So I put this on last night and I left it on all night, and I put it to just over 1 bar and it didn't drop at all, which makes me more confident that the actual cooling system is totally fine on this vehicle. The head gasket at the moment is okay. Obviously, if there was a sudden drop in pressure, it would mean there's a leak quite obvious somewhere. If there's a really, really slow drop in pressure over a sustained period, as in overnight or even 24 hours, it would mean that you may have a micro leak or a micro crack or somewhere where the coolant is actually leaking in the engine or air's coming out, and this could indicate a head gasket. So at the moment, we don't have any sort of pressure drop of the cooling system, so I'm happy with the cooling system at the minute. Now, a common fault on these is the actual injectors. They're not hold down very well. There's only one bolt. It's spread across 2 injectors to hold the injectors down. So there's only 2 retaining clips for the full 4 injectors, which isn't exactly a really good design. So the injectors aren't held down very well, and obviously they get worn. So this can allow diesel and oil to pass out of the injectors from the combustion chamber and then obviously leak into this into the rocker cover here. So an easy hit is basically to replace the injector seal. So this is basically replacing the copper washer, the seal on the diesel leak off, and also the seal on the rocker cover as well. So while we've got the rocker cover off as well, there's a PCV valve up here, which basically forms a vacuum, making exhaust gases not come out of the filler cap or the dipstick. So this is quite a common problem on these vehicles. It could be blocked, it could be not working. So while you've got the injectors out, it's prudent to change this rocker cover. It's a cheap part. It's only about £100 aftermarket. I think it's about 300 from Ford, which is quite expensive, but an aftermarket part is relatively cheap. It's quite an invasive procedure. Obviously, I'm going to be taking all this off, taking all the rails off, taking all the injectors out, replacing the rocker cover as well. But that's an easy hit, and it's a very common problem on these injectors to actually pass oil and diesel out of the actual combustion chamber. Now, it's all well and good throwing parts at this engine, but until we actually know we've got a good engine and it's not the piston rings or a cracked cylinder head or a cracked actual piston itself, then I'm quite reluctant to throw any parts at it. So what we have to do is we have to basically do a compression test of the engine. And I would even do this before I'd even replace the turbo. Even if you think it's the turbo, I would still want a compression test of this engine. And it's just to safeguard you spending any more money than you really have to, because if you're replacing the turbo and you're not doing it yourself, you know, you're taking the alternator off, you're taking the airbox out, you're taking the turbo off, and you know, a vehicle like this with this age, it's over 12 years old, it's got 120,000+ miles on it. Every bolt is going to be a battle to get this turbo off. So your labor bill is going to be quite a bit. So before I start replacing any parts and even the injector seals, I want to know about the actual compression of the engine. And that's where this little testing kit comes in handy. So this is a diesel compression tester. So we've got an actual gauge, we've got the glow plug slot. And what we need to be doing is we need to be taking off all the throttle body there, the top intercooler hose, the diesel filter, possibly move the fuse box out of the way, and basically take off all the inlet manifold. And the glow plugs in this engine, it's really not a great design, unfortunately, from Ford, because sometimes the glow plugs are quite easily accessible on engines, but on this it's definitely not. So the glow plugs sit inside the inlet manifold, so you have to take off all the actual, like I said, all the inlet side anyway. Glow plugs aren't the easiest to take out. These glow plugs have never been changed on this vehicle at 120,000+ miles it's been on the road. And obviously it's had a hard life, towing horse boxes all its life, and it's lived in a very salty part of the country. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to get really heavy penetrating fluid. It's going to be plus gas. I'm not going to use OBD 40, and I'm going to basically take off all the actual throttle body, inlet, like I said. I'm going to coat it in plus gas, and I'm going to do it for about 2 to 3 days. Every few hours I'm going to go to it, I'm going to spray it. I've got a luxury of this because I'm doing it at home. If it's in a garage, then unfortunately you don't have that sort of luxury. But I'm going to do it, and I'm going to try and get all 4 glow plugs out. I'm mostly interested. There's a really common fault on cylinder 3, what fails quite regularly. So I'm really interested in cylinder 3 compression ratio. And obviously I will need to compare it to at least one other cylinder. I would obviously ideally want to do all 4, but if for some reason I feel like one of the glow plugs is going to snap, then I will not continue to get it out. I will basically, as long as I can get 2 out, 3 is a bonus, 4 is brilliant. But I'm going to be getting all that out, and I want to be testing the actual compression ratio. Now, once I've tested the compression ratio, this may indicate a pressure drop in one of the cylinders, which still could indicate one of our injectors isn't right. I've got parts coming for all the injector seals, and I've got a part coming for the rocker cover. Now, I'm willing to take a gamble on this because it's only about £150 all in for these parts. So the injector seals were quite cheap. The rocker cover was relatively cheap. So I'm willing to take a gamble, and I'm willing to replace these parts and then redo the test, redo the compression test. And if it still shows a drop in the cylinder, it means that it's obviously not worked, and we've got a bigger problem inside the engine. And that's when we can actually condemn this engine. But fingers crossed, I'm hoping that with a new PCV, with the new injector seals, the second compression test I do will be better possibly than the first compression test. Now, it still could be the turbo, like I said, but as long as we give the engine an overall health check and we know for sure that there's no compression loss on the cylinders, I'm happy to keep this engine, obviously keep it running, and then go straight to the turbo, or further down the line, possibly DPF as well. Cut that out, wash it out, replace it, or clean it and things like that. So this may be a little bit of a slog with this vehicle. There's going to be a lot of bolts. What are going to be a battle? Like I said, it's an old vehicle, 120,000 miles, 2013. But I do want to keep it on the road because it's obviously cheaper than buying a new vehicle. I have just bought a new vehicle as a daily driver. I could get my missus to use the Land Rover. She has been using my Defender for towing horse boxes. Don't really like doing that because it's my pride and joy. I don't want it to be slogged on the motorway towing a horse box. Or maybe we just sell it completely and buy a Range Rover. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. So that's the first video in this series of the 2.2 litre TDCI Puma engine, of the sort of problems we're going to get associated with blue smoke. So subscribe along if you haven't already for more videos to come on this. It's going to take a little while to get in amongst the actual engine, get it all tested, but the videos will be coming out in due course, along with plenty of other Land Rover things. I've got about 30 ideas in my head at the minute of future videos to come out. So there's plenty more content to come, and if you do like the content, do subscribe along and hit the like button as well. It helps reach other people as well. And I'll see you for the next one.